good morning. It's still morning, technically. It's been a little bit. I got a new jacket. I'm pretty happy with it. It's nice. It's a little bit bigger. It's got pockets in different places, like one on the here. There's still that one there. It's not the more usual down near the waist pockets, which is what I'm used to. They're like up here. Anyway, it's not really relevant, but I'm excited about it. It's a new jacket, and it's got, ooh, here we go. Got a hood. It's actually pretty useful. I came out for a couple hours this morning, not too many. We've got some things going on this weekend for sure. And as a matter of fact, today is my significant other's birthday. So I'm gonna go home, spend the time with her. Getting some lunch, I think, is what was decided for. Splurge a little bit, which is nice. Anyway, completely irrelevant to what we've just done and gone and seen. I came back out once again, same location, 3 times in a row. And I wasn't entirely planning on it. I kind of had another idea, but then I just, at the last minute, it's like, I really want to try again to see what was in the water. A mink, a beaver, I'm not sure. Some kind of mammal. And we came out, and sometimes when you come out, there are days where you see stuff, there are days where you don't really see anything. And we got a mix of both. There were some geese at one point. I watched a red-winged blackbird. There's a good bit out here. It's not the most ideal location because we're so close to highways, so the road noise is very loud for recording the video. You get a lot of background noise, which is not ideal for the wildlife. It's picked up in popularity for sure. More people are out here fishing today. Lots of people out here fishing, actually. I saw several. And then people walking their dogs and stuff. So I'm not sure how much. Probably won't be coming back here, but more on that. Anyway, did see that creature, our mammal, for just a second. It really was just like, oh, there it is. And I was really early on, like sunrise is at 6:30 right now. Time change is coming. But saw it very briefly right around then, and then it ducked under and never saw it again the rest of the time. For the next like 3 hours, nothing. So it's unfortunate. But it is what it is. We saw what we saw today. That's what happens. Still happy about it. Still happy we get out and kind of practice. It really wasn't so bad. I actually found out the one of the things that's been annoying me these last few times out using this blind that I've been doing, because it's just over, it's on my head, and I pull and it pulls everywhere. It wasn't as bad today. It's because I didn't have the headphones. That's how I'm listening to the audio and checking the levels and listening for birds and things like that. It's just a piece of plastic on my head, right? Just the top of some real cheap headphones. And that pulls on the camo that I'm wearing over me. And it wasn't as bad because it was a little colder and I put my hood up. And this is more of a soft material on top. That's not as bad. It doesn't pull it as much, which doesn't pull the camera because of where, everything's all connected now in one. So that's not bad. Although I do think I probably would have better success, especially in a spot like that where it's kind of bigger and open. It worked pretty well to just be, it would work pretty well to have the pop-up tent. But anyway, the other thing to talk about, I do my best since I've started doing this over the last 5 or 6 years now. I don't know. Following the rules whenever possible, looking them up, taking the time, arrive at a new location, a new park, whatever it is, go read the billboard there, read all the rules, make sure you understand them. They're all pretty typical. It's a lot of don't do this kind of situation and try to follow them to the best of my abilities. And I did that when I moved to Colorado, right? I was up in the mountains, but for the most part, I went to just a few different places, and none of them required passes except for Rocky Mountain National Park, which was something that I have, an actual annual state park pass to go into those things. And that's actually national, excuse me. I have, there's a couple different ones, and that's the thing. There are national parks, that's what Rocky Mountain National Park is, and that requires a national park pass. There are state parks to go to, which require a state park pass. In Colorado, there is also something else for some of the locations. As it turns out, it is not as easy to understand because it is conflicting. Sometimes you go to a park and there's a sign that says one thing, and if you look it up, the sign is old and outdated and not up to date. And so the rules are different from what actually you could find. It's always confusing. Typically, what's posted on location, which is why it varies from place to place, but it's also not clear. The point is, the last place I went to, we've been here like 3 times in a row, I think, and then the place before, and several of the other places that I have been to have mentioned something about a state wildlife pass. And I thought that was part of the state park pass because it had the word state in it. That's not the case. They're very different passes. But it's also very difficult to find information about that unless you Google very specifically the state wildlife pass. The state of Colorado, in my opinion, might want to do a bit of work on that, because if you go to the parks and passes, you will find passes for state parks, which is part of my driver's license or part of my car tag. That's a new thing that they rolled out, something called Keep Colorado Wild. You get a discount significantly on an annual park pass, and it's part of your car registration. It's automatic. It's really cool. That's what I have. I really like that. That gives me access to state parks. For example, where we're at right now is just a park, but it's across the street from St. Vrain State Park, somewhere we've been a few times. That I can just get into as part of having that with my car tag. Here is just an open space. Some of the other places that we've been to, the one at the beginning of the year, required this state wildlife park pass that I did not realize at the time because the wording is confusing, and it talks more about hunting licenses, and that's all you find when you go looking on their website and on their app. They try to make it easy, and there's an app that shows you what passes you have. Anyway, I did discover that after the last time I was there. I did not get stopped by a park ranger or anything and told that I couldn't be there, but that was the rule that I did not realize at the time. So I discovered this after, it was back in January, after the last location that we went to that was all hunting. I was actually able to finally, after, I did do research right after moving, and again, throughout, because it just seemed, I was like, I don't understand what it is, but when you go looking for the passes, there's all these other ones, and it's all hunting licenses, and it's all things like that, and you have to very specifically Google the name of the pass that you should have. And again, when you go to buy it, it's not listed on their regular place. You cannot buy it in the app. You can't buy it, from what I can find, you can't buy it in the app, and you can't buy it on their normal website with all the other passes that give you additional to different state parks or to different areas, or hunting licenses. It's all in there for the hunting licenses. But this specific SWA, State Wildlife, I forget what the A stands for, is a pass that is required if you want to go use the land for something else. If you want to go hike, or if you want to go watch the wildlife like I'm doing, that's what's required instead of a hunting license. It is a separate thing. It's, I think, cheaper. It wasn't cheap, but it is I bought the annual pass. And the reason that I found out about it in January and didn't buy it right away is that the annual passes aren't available until March 1st. So I had to wait. Yesterday was March 1st. I had a reminder set on my phone, and I didn't mention it over the last few things because I found other places to go to. This does not require a pass, so we've been coming here. But we're finally, some of the ones that I went, yes, this seems like a good spot. Specifically, I can finally go back to now that I have that pass. It's just a slight frustration that it was yesterday morning, I knew I had to buy it. I went on the app, nothing. I go on the website, nothing. I cannot figure out where it is and looking for these different things. It is just not listed under any of the options of park passes to buy. You have to very specifically Google for that pass. You have to know about it beforehand. Google for that one, because I can't find it anywhere else on their website. And look through it. It wound up being a source of frustration to get to that and then go in and I can purchase it at that point. Which, just from a technical perspective as well, logging into their website requires my driver's license number and a password. because I've created an account. But when you log in on your phone, you use an email and the same password. And like, what? Just from a technical perspective, why are there two different ways to log in with two different things from two different, like, why would that not just be the same login for both? I now have the park pass that is required. I have the wildlife pass. I can go back to areas like the one at the beginning of the year, which was all hunting, and I'm not going back there. It was a long drive for all hunting and not a lot of wildlife. But we did see the hermit thrush, which was really cool. But the other places that we've been to, the one back in, I want to say December. I don't remember exactly when I've been there. I've been to a few different places. We've been branching out in different directions in Colorado outside the city limits of Denver. And, you know, we can now go there legally and not break the rules. Not thrilled that I was breaking the rules before. I did not realize that was the case in any way, just because it was very confusing with the wording. I should have done it. It's on me. I'm not blaming them. It is confusing, I'm just saying, but it's on me for not looking further into it and specifically looking up those passes, because there's also something called a habitat stamp. And I've been to places that are like, your habitat stamp is not required here. And I go, what? Wait, where's the habitat stamp? And when you go look up a habitat stamp, that is something that gets added onto your purchase when you buy a hunting license. Or the wildlife pass that I bought yesterday. It's not the easiest thing, but I'm glad that I at least have it solved. So now I know I'm not going to get in trouble should I go to places. I have a full year. It was like $40 for the full year. Cool. So we'll probably be going back to some places like that now that I know that I can actually acquire, and I mean that I can actually enter those lands legally without breaking any rules and risk fines or anything. Didn't realize before. It was a mistake. I've corrected it. That's kind of, you know, an important thing, and that's why I did want to talk about it. I learned that and went, oh, whoops, I was breaking a rule I did not even realize. Now I will fix that and not break the rule, and I wanted to at least, you know, talk about it so other people don't make that mistake as well, and so that I recognize my mistakes and learn from them. Now I know that's the path that I'm supposed to have, because hunting is clearly more popular of an option, and more people have that, so more people just buy a hunting license, and that gives you access to the lands if you have the hunting license. But there is that other option. It's just difficult to find, and I don't know if it's being phased out, and so that's why it's not in the app, and it's hard to find those ones, or I don't know, you know. Government is difficult to navigate sometimes, and there's a lot of left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. So you might get, you know, the park rangers who know what passes people are supposed to have, but then the software developers who are building the websites for the government are just contractors maybe, or I don't know if they actually hire their own. I have no idea how any of that works, pure speculation, but I suspect, considering how difficult it was for me to just go purchase this, it was a left hand, right hand situation where the people who are setting it up on one website where you can purchase it is different from the website where you can shop for all of them. It was annoying, but it's done now. It's over with. I'm glad I got that done. I'm glad I can come out and see things, and we will be going somewhere different next time. I want to focus on the, we said a whole thing at the beginning of the year picking those birds, and now we're 3 months in, and I have yet to actually make any effort towards seeing specific ones. So I think that's going to be my next location. Like, I don't know where yet, but I will specifically look for one of the ones that we picked to try to see this year, and then go to a place like that. Yeah, that's going to do it for today. I'm glad we saw what we saw. It was fun. That'll do it. See you next time. I just remembered something as I took off my mic and was getting everything ready to go here to drive away. When I did this research and I learned about this state wildlife area, I think that's the A, the pass, I think it's a newer thing. I don't know when it was rolled out because I don't remember seeing timestamps, but when I finally learned about it and was researching about it, it was one of those things that they were rolling out and they specifically put on there going, here's a new thing. Like, it was an announcement from, I guess, the state, the Colorado Parks Department, going, it's a new thing, here's this, since it's new, our park rangers are going to try to instead educate people rather than issue fines immediately. So if it's the first time and you genuinely didn't know about it, I remember reading something very specific about, like, we're going to try to be lenient with this thing. So maybe that's why it's confusing and like it's not fully available to purchase in some ways, but it is a thing that you're supposed to have for others. I think it may be newer. Unless I was reading some really old information, it's hard to tell. I don't know. I just remembered that was something that I learned back in January when I finally figured out, oh, yes, I do need a pass, and this is the pass I'm supposed to have. Got it. And I remember finding that information about it, but that was almost 2 months ago, so I forgot to say that while doing the main recording, and I only remembered to record it here, now. Bye.